And if you like the video or any other content on the channel, feel free to subscribe.
So we got the new map today. Green grasslands should be pretty good, so we'll have a little more variation on the channel. We are doing vital ground, so it's only going to be 4 objectives with Minefields and Crucible of Battle. Show off Leviathan with one last match. We're going to try Shield Host against Mike's Necrons again today and see how that goes. For my list today, I'm bringing the Shield Host. It's going to be 2,000 points exactly. I did bring some Dreadnoughts just to kind of mix it up today. I didn't want to bring everything super competitive, so I did bring a Aculus Dreadnought and a Adeptus Dreadnought with a Telemon, a Shield Captain on the Dawn Eagle jet bike, and he has the Castellan's mark, so after the first turn roll, I can redeploy 2 units or put them back into reserves if I need to. And I have 2 units of 5 Alaris Terminators. One of the Shield Captain, they all have axes, and he has the enhancement that gives him +1 to his damage and +1 to his strength, bringing his axe up to strength 10, AP 1, damage 4. I got 2 groups of Custodian Guards, so I can sticky some objectives since you can only use Battle Line to sticky objectives, and Custodian Guard are my only battle line. Then finally, I have 2 units of Prosecutors just for standing on objectives and doing stuff. So that's the list, 2,000 points exactly. Let's see how it does against Mike's Necrons today.
Hello, today we are playing the Necrons again. We are going to shift back to Canoptek Court. I want to give that one a try again, so we're going to play some different stuff. I'm not going with the triple Catan. It's oppressive and obnoxious, so we're going to change it up a little bit today. So I am running the Silent King, and he has a Transcendent Catan behind him, and we are going to be running a group of 10 warriors. Imhotep, he's going to be hanging back. He's basically just a CP battery. Don't know if I'll actually need it with this army, but we'll find out. I'm running 2 groups of the Wraiths. They're strong, they know what they are, they're going to be nerfed, so whatever, enjoy them for now. They both have a Technomancer. Yes, I realize that's not a Technomancer model, but it is today. One of them is running the Infiltrate enhancement, and the other one is running the Reroll Wounds of 1 enhancement. And over here, we are running a Chronomancer with 10 Immortals. They are running the Gauss rifles, and 2 singletons of Locust Heavy, and 2 singleton obbies of Doomstalkers. See how it goes.
For deployment here, I did deploy. I got my sisters over here, just behind here in case they get investigate signals. A lot of my Dreadnoughts, my Custodian Guard, and my Captain on the jet bike is just sitting behind this wall here, ready to pounce up onto this objective. I do have a Custodian Guard, probably to sticky that since I do need Custodian Guard units to actually stick the objective in the Shield Host, with some Prosecutors behind them. I did put the Shield Captain with his unit and a Adeptus Dreadnought behind the wall here. So that's my deployment here. I might try to pounce on this objective. I'm not sure yet. It's gonna be a weird one just because with so much firepower from Mike's side, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. So Mike has the King and a Locust Heavy Destroyer here, ready to shoot down the board at me. He also has the Transcendent Catan ready to probably teleport down into my zone. Gotta deal with that. I also, it looks like he has his warrior sitting here ready to screen, so I can't deep strike down here, take his objective, since the objectives, home field objectives are worth 6 points in this game. We do have the Immortals and his Chronomancer behind the wall, kind of like how my Dreadnoughts and such are. His two groups of Wraiths are kind of sitting here close to this objective, ready to pounce forward and see what he could do. And he also has his Doomstalkers in the backfield. Let's go on to first turn roll and see what happens. Yep, first turn roll. Ooh, so Necrons do go first, get the first turn roll. So I do believe there's, do you have any scouting moves?
Nope.
So no scout moves either way. So we're gonna go on to Mike's first turn and see what happens. Redeployments with the Castellan's mark. I did pick up this Dreadnought and put him over here. He was sitting here and I think Mike might have been able to shoot him with some of his heavy firepower down the board. So I did move him over here. If I had got first turn, I would have moved all of my stuff. I would have moved the Telemon and this Dreadnought over to this side of the board and just tried to push this objective as hard as I could. But Mike got first turn, so now I'm just going to play a little more defensive and see what he does and react to him. I also moved my Telemon because the Telemon probably could have been hit there as well. So the Telemon moved over here because we're not using any of the footprints. So it does make it a little bit hard to hide from shooting in this game. So let's see what Mike's first turn draw is. He gets engage in all fronts and cleanse. So got to cleanse objectives in no man's land and get himself on some fronts. Turn CP is 2-1 for the Necrons. Necrons do have Imotech for that CP battery. Okay, so Mike made a pretty timid movement phase because he doesn't want to get close to me so I can charge him, and he has all these guns so he can kind of shoot at me. All right, so Mike did a pretty timid movement phase. Wasn't much for him to do. He doesn't want to get too close to me, so he did move his Transcendent Catan down here just to cleanse down here. The Wraiths are obviously cleansing over here to give him 5 points. There's nothing for him to shoot. The Transcendent Catan also gives him engage in all fronts for 3. So he's gonna go up to 8 points in the first turn, which is a pretty good draw. And we're gonna go on to the Custodes turn 1. Let's see what I get here. Oh, come on, something good. Aerial Denial. That one's gonna be pretty hard to get. And Overwhelming, but I think you still get the 3 points if no one's in there. All right, Overwhelming Force and Aerial Denial. So I have to kill things on objective and go to the middle. So that's gonna be pretty hard to do for turn 1, but we'll see what happens. CP, I'm up to 2 and Mike is up to 3. Score is 8-0 for the Necrons. For my movement phase, I was able to get a 6 on the advance for the Custodian Guard. I did take a wound from the Mortal Wounds from the Minefields, but I did get on this objective to steal it back from Mike. I won't be able to charge him this phase, but I might be able to lure him into charging me and we'll see what happens. But that's a Transcendent Catan, so I don't know what will happen, to be honest. I advanced my pretty much everything else off the board. The Telemon with a 1, this Custodian Guard with a 3. It's just enough to get Aerial Denial for the 3 points. I'm not going to get Overwhelming Force. I decided to stay here with everything else just to see what Mike was going to do. Probably stay on his objectives. Toss Overwhelming Force since I'm probably not going to get that anytime soon. So it does bring me up to 2 CP since I did have to spend 1 to sticky this objective here. There's sisters on there, but I just want to have it sticky just in case Mike does somehow kill those sisters, just to make him have to physically get on it to take it from me. So that's my turn. Score is 3-8 for the Necrons. We're going to go on to see what Mike does in his turn 2. Turn 2, I do believe I'm going to call the Martial Mastery phase. I do have to call it at the first of the battle round. So I'm going to call that and watch Mike probably scurry away from me. So let's see what Mike draws in his turn 2. Behind enemy lines and extend battle lines. Pretty much have that one done already since you already have this objective and this objective. So that's an easy score of 5 points. The score is 15-3 since Mike does get 2 points for this one and 5 points for this, adding to his 8. So the score is 15-3 Going on to his movement. For Necron's turn 2 movement, pretty tentative. Since I called the Martial Mastery, Mike didn't want to get close to me since I would have exploding 5s and an extra AP in melee. So he stayed back just to kind of wait that turn out. He did teleport his Transcendent Catan over here to get some shots onto my sisters and to get him behind enemy lines as well. So that's pretty much the movement phase. Once again, pretty tentative movement just to kind of lure me out into this death lane of all the shooting that will take. So let's go on to his shooting and see what happens. All right, so far this Locust Heavy has shot at the Telemon, just bouncing off the invulnerable save. So Locust is going to shoot into my Adeptus Dreadnought.
He hits, and I'll reroll. Yeah, I'll reroll that. Nope. Okay.
All right. So the Locust Heavy Destroyer did miss into the Adeptus Dreadnought, but now we do have the big man Silent King. Mike was going to shoot into my Adeptus Dreadnought with the Silent King, but he has a range of 24 inches and he is not quite within range. Now the Catan, Transcendent Catan, is going to be shooting into my sisters before I chop them up, hopefully next turn. So sisters go down from the Transcendent Catan, from the shooting for that. I think that might be all of Mike's shooting.
Yes.
So Mike does get 3 points for behind enemy lines and 5 points for extend, bringing him up to 23 to my 3. So the score is quite high. Let's see if I can get some good secondaries into my score turn 2. See if I can kind of even it up here. Let's see what I draw for my turn 2. These Leviathan cards are cursed to me, so I'll be happy to be rid of them. Assassination, well, there is a character down there, and secure no man's land. I need 2 objectives in no man's land. So this needs to be my go turn, I think. I do get 2 points for this objective, 6 points for this objective. Bring me up to 11 points, I do believe, to Mike's 23. So we're gonna go on to my movement phase and see if I can take out some of these Necrons and get some of these objectives. For my movement phase, I went for broke. I pushed everything ahead. I just had to put some pressure on Mike. He doesn't have anything to deep strike, and the only thing he can move around and teleport is the Catan. So if I can take that out, I can start pushing the rest of my army further up the board. I did want to put this Dreadnought into the Catan too, but I just couldn't really risk him being back there with his movement 6. It would take me another 10 turns to get all the way up the board again. So I did move these Terminators out. Mike did use the stratagem to push his race out to block me from getting onto that objective as much as he can, and so just to give him more time for these race to come up and take it again. I did move my Custodian Guard out as well, and this Dreadnought. So I pushed everything forward quite a bit to try to push into Mike and steal this objective, just because he is ahead in the points by quite a bit. So I need to get Assassination, and I need Secure No Man's Land. And then down here, my Terminators have moved down towards to charge this Catan, as well as the Telemon Dreadnought. So I'm going to go into my shooting phase. Not too much to shoot, but I think I will use Archaeotech Munitions with this group right here, because we do need to kill this Catan. So we're going to go on to my shooting phase and see what happens in my shooting phase. I did use 1 CP as well to sticky this objective, so I can push forward with all my units. All right, so I'm going to use Architect munitions on this unit here and shoot into the Transcendent Catan. We'll come back with what results, because there is a lot of dice, but I'm going to pick lethal hits just to try to get as much damage onto this Catan as I can. Okay, so I did all the shooting off camera. Pretty much. I did tip off, I think, 4 or 5 wounds off the Transcendent Catan. What's he down to?
He's down to 7.
Down to 7. So I did, with all the shooting from the Architechnicians and the Telemon here, I was able to bring this Transcendent Catan down to 7. Soften up for a charge, just because these are the spear guys, so I will get their weapon damage half down to 1. So I do need to get lots of wounds through onto this Catan. Did shoot everything else into the race. Took out 2 race. Not too bad for the Custodes shooting with my strength 4. But it's going to be the charge phase that really makes this turn. I do need to get in here and chop up some things and just put some pressure onto Mike. So we're going to go to my charges. So the first one that does need to make it is these Terminators into the Transcendent Catan.
What's that, a 4?
It's like a 4, yeah. Yeah! An 8, that will make it. We'll just put it beside them. And then next we're going to put the Telemon into him as well. Telemon needs probably close to the same. An 8, that should make it in.
When you declare your first charge on them, I am going to do spend a CP to trigger reanimation protocols.
Yep, all right. So I'm going to charge into this group here, and Mike is going to spend a CP to reanimate some for his race. Terminators are going to try charge in with a 6. That's probably what I wanted, a pretty low one, so I can kind of get them wrapped up. This Aculus Dreadnought into these race. Makes it with a 10. That's my charge phase. Let's go into combat phase. See if the Martial Mastery can chop them things up. So I am going to attack with my Terminators all into the Transcendent Catan. Me and Mike did discuss off the camera here, just because which one do I want to attack first? Because I didn't want him to interrupt, but the fact we kind of looked here, he's kind of spread out, so if it did interrupt up here, he would have to spread a lot of his attacks onto all these different units. But down here, Mike could pop it and kill a bunch of my Terminators, making it a lot harder for me to kill him. So I'm going to use it here. Attack here first. So we're going to attack. We got exploding 5s. So let's hopefully I can get some. We're going to take lethals just because I reroll hits, because I do need 5s to wound him. So we'll take lethals and then reroll my wounds. All right, so we'll come back and we'll let you know what the wounds are, and so we'll saves. So I did end up getting 17 wounds through on the Transcendent Catan with the lethals and the exploding 5s. So Mike's going to roll here. He needs 4s and then 5s on his Finips. Roll again and look for 5s. Oh, spicy. So he's down to 5 wounds. Oh, not bad at all. So he survives there. The Telemon will get to swing unless Mike's going to interrupt with the Transcendent Catan. We'll go on. So that's not bad. Some hot rolls by Mike keeps him alive. Okay, so we'll do the Telemon next. He does have 5 attacks. I will take sustain since I'm exploding on 5s and he has strength 12. So we do need 2s. Do miss 1, but 2 explodies. And we do need 3s to wound here. Telemon. So that's 4 wounds, AP 2, damage 3. Fails 1, and then so you're just going to use...
It'll go down to 2,
yeah. Right? So he only takes 1 wound. Wow, that is insane. For him still to be alive, pretty good for Mike. Will not get me assassination. Let's see if I do a little bit better with my Shield Captain's unit up here with the axes. So we're going to swing here, exploding 5s. We are going to take sustained hits for this one because we are going to be wounding on 3s, re-rolling my wounds. Yep. Like last time, we'll come back to the wounds, let you know what happens. 30 wounds through with the axes onto the race. So we'll show you the first roll and then kind of come back and show you what happens, because we don't think Mike's going to live through this one. But I didn't think he was going to live through the other one, so. This blob, big old golden blob, pretty much, we knew it was going to happen, but we did manage to take out this blob of race over here. But now the Transcendent Catan gets to swing back at my Terminators because they failed to kill it.
8 attacks, sustain 1. We get 2 sustained in there, so 3. Wow, math's hard. Okay, so we're up 2 more. Looking for 3s. Not the best. Not the best at all.
Not the best. No.
So we're looking at 5 on your invuln.
5 on my invuln. Yeah. Make 2.
2 of them.
Yes.
First one takes 3.
The other one will kill him.
Yeah, okay.
Kills a Terminator. So the Transcendent Catan did manage to kill a Terminator, better than that they did to him. And that is the end of the Custodes turn 2. I wasn't able to kill these Transcendent Catan. I think he's down to 4 wounds. He will come back with some more wounds. And then Mike's turn. So he didn't get assassination for that, but I did manage to kill the Technomancer with the race up here, giving me assassination and getting secure no man's land with me sticking on this objective here for 5 points. So the score is going to be 21 to 23 for Mike and the Necrons. So he's going to go on to Mike's turn 3, see what he draws and see what he does. And Mike draws a tempting target, okay, and defend stronghold. Defend stronghold, pretty good. Tempting target. Oh, Mike's going to eat it for a CP.
Yep. I needed to see if it was even possible. It's not.
For assassination. So he has to kill either my, which is not a better one, so he has to kill this guy or the shield captain in there. So we're going to go on to Mike's movement. He does get 2 points for this one, bringing him up to 25 points. For the movement phase for the Necrons, he did fall back onto my objective just to steal that to get him some points if I don't take it back from him. I did move the race up and everything over here to get some shots onto my big golden group over here. The king moved up to probably get some shots into these guys over here. So I had to weather the storm, see what's going to happen in the Necron shooting, just to see if I can keep on holding on to these objectives and keeping Mike at bay. So on to Mike's shooting, see what happens. I did overwatch over here when Mike moved his Immortals because he wouldn't have the cover from the Terminators. With all the shots, I did manage to kill 2, but that's not the best. But we're going to the shooting. We'll see what happens in Mike's shooting phase. So far, Mike's has shot some of the stuff, the Locust Heavy Destroyer into the Dreadnought, bounced off the Dreadnought. The rest of the stuff kind of bounced off too, but from the race. But now both these Doomstalkers are going to shoot into my guard. He's just going to roll them both at the same time just to save us a little time.
2d6 plus 2. So 5, 6, 7.
And that once again is these guys shooting into my poor 4 custodian guard here.
They're looking for 4s, re-rolling all hits.
Not bad.
Look for 2s. 5, sorry.
5? I won't roll any. I'll roll these all at the same time. I don't really CP roll anything. Ooh. Ooh. How much damage did I do?
3. Kills
a custodian guard. The 2 Doomstalkers shot into my custodian guard, killing my poor 1 man. Ooh. Big Silent King is next. What looks like Mike's figured out what he wants to shoot at. We have one of the Minears shooting into my wounded Terminator group, another Minear shooting into my poor captain, and then the rest of the pitter-patter into this group of custodian guard here. Looks like he wants to slow all my units down for some charges.
Okay, so Annihilator Beam on this fellow.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad I already did a CP reroll.
All right, that next Minear into the Terminators.
All I needed was a 2. It's a 2. All right.
Probably a 2.
Yeah. AP 4.
A 3. So I do lose my precious Terminator. The shield captain is in that group. I'm going to use a CP reroll for free just because there's no other battle tactics to use, just to try to keep him alive. I rolled worse. So he is really dead. All right, and then the pitter-patter from the Silent King did manage to take out one of my custodian guard and bring one down to 2 wounds. Mike's shooting phase wasn't the best. We were talking how I was a little worried because with the Canoptek Court, the Matrix, he only needs to control half of the ones in no man's land, so it would have pretty much meant, as long as he was holding on to this, he would have the rerolls to his hits with his Canoptek Court units pretty much all game, so I did need to press him, but he did roll pretty bad on his shooting. So let's see what I can do. I think I've got some charges coming my way as well. So let's see if I can roll as well with my saves in the charge phase, because if not, I might be in trouble. It looks like Mike is going to charge his race into both of my groups of Terminators and my Custodian Guard, and possibly even the Dreadnought as well.
All right, they are in. I'm just going to charge them.
Just going to charge my Custodian gods.
I'd love Assassinate, but I think it's more important that he does something.
The 3. I don't think he even makes
I might have to reroll for that anyway.
Okay. But still, good thing he didn't go
yes,
forward.
yes,
He
yes.
would not made it.
Nope.
All right, I do believe that's the charges. Let's go on to the combat phase. I don't have enough CP to interrupt. All right, so Mike did pop 2 CP to give his race devastating wounds, and I did use my remaining CP to give my Terminators the -1 to hit with the, what's called, unwavering Sentinels now. So fight first, it is just -1 to the hit roll for melee attacks. So first he's just going to put the 2 wraiths into my Custodian Guard.
Hitting on 5s, rerolling hits 1. 2 dudes, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, looking for 4s.
6s are Debbie's.
2.
2.
2 at AP1.
AP1, so I do need 3s.
Damage 2.
Damage 2, so I do lose one of my Custodian Guard. Boop.
Okay, all right.
Now we have these wraiths are going to be attacking into my Terminators.
Looking for 5s. Rerolling hits 1. 5s, Debbie wounds.
Yes.
2 Devies, probably good.
2 Devies, that kills a Terminator.
All right, cool.
So that was the race. He did manage to kill a Terminator and one of my Custodian Guard. I will do the attacks back after this, but I still believe we have his fights first over here to do. Silent King into my Custodian Guard. The Mineers already went and missed, but now it's the King and all his splendid glory into my poor Custodian Guard.
Looking for 2s, lethal hits. Looking for 3s.
Not too shabby.
8. 8 at -3, so 8 on your invuln.
8 on my invuln. Nice.
2 damage. All right.
You kill a Custodian Guard.
Huh. All right. Well.
Wow, that's pretty good. Okay,
Yep.
so that saved. I needed that because Mike, if he killed there, if he was smart enough, he would have piled onto this objective, stealing points from me.
Definitely was the hopes and dreams.
I'll get to swing back with my army now. We'll do that off camera because I do all the swings over here. Martial Mastery is over, so I won't get the crits. So we'll do the swings off camera, see if I can bash with some of these Mineers. All right, so I swung back with my Custodians in Mike's turn 3. I was able to do 4 wounds, 4 pitiful wounds to the King, but the Terminators went crazy. I think I killed all of the race except for 1. He's down to 1 wound and the Technomancer in there. So that was a gamble Mike wanted to play because he needed to take that back. He's hoping with the devastating wounds to take out enough and then probably plink out some more with the Doomstalkers, but now he's lost most of his race. Now we'll figure out the points, we'll see what's going on, and then we'll move on to my Custodes turn 3. He's going to keep Assassination just because this guy is going to be driving around being a nuisance. He does need to kill him. He's going to get Defend Stronghold. Even if I get the Captain up there, I'm probably not going to take that. So he doesn't get any points for our secondaries, but he's still at 25 to my 21. Going on to my turn 3. Custodes turn 3. I'll go up to 1 CP. I think Mike is still flooding at 2 if they think he's
No, I'm back up to 1 because I spent the rest of
Okay, nice. Oh, okay. So your Mike's up to 1 and I am up to 1 CP. So let's see what my draw is for turn 3. I need a decent draw. Cleanse. Yeah, I probably can do decent with Cleanse and a Tempting Target. Okay, well, that's pretty much 3 points for Tempting Target.
Yeah.
So we'll go on. Points are now, because I do get 5 points for this objective in No Man Land and 5 points for this one. I don't get this one, 2 points for this because Mike has stole my home field objective. So score is 31 to 25 for the Custodes. Okay, here now. So I did do my movement. I moved closer to the Transatlantic Baton just to make sure my charges don't fail. I kept the Telemon out so I could get some shots up the table into this pesky heavy destroyer who's been shooting me all game. We've been tossing shots back and forth, bouncing off each other. Move these sisters up here to Cleanse so I can grab onto that objective. Gauss' Dreadnoughts trudging up the board. He might make comeback this turn, but we'll see if he does anything all game. I use my final CP to sticky this objective with my final Custodian Guard, and I'll use him to Cleanse as well. Moved up the Aculus Dreadnought to get some shots onto some different things around here, and I fell back with the Custodian Guard just because if I give Mike another turn to swing at me, it was a miracle that they made it through last time. The King will chop them up, and just to give Mike more options to have to fight with, so I can try to keep him off this objective. Move my shield captain up here to start pushing into his back lines to threaten him. So that's my movement. We'll do the shooting off camera because it's just mostly the Terminator pitter-patter stuff. So do the shooting and on to the charges after that. All right, like I figured, pretty pitiful shooting phase. Planked off 1 wound off the Transcendent Catan. Took out 3 wounds off the Heavy Destroyer here. Didn't do any wounds to the Mineers here or anything over here because the Dreadnoughts just failed to shoot anything this game. So we're gonna go on to the charges. Charges over here should be pretty simple. We're gonna charge the Telemon and the Terminators into the Transcendent Catan. We have the Terminators, make it a 5, Transcendent Catan, or I mean the Telemon makes it a 7. So we're gonna put, next we'll put this fella into this Heavy Destroyer with a 12. We'll do something like this. We'll do drive something like that. Because I have all the movement and there's some shenanigans you can do. Galatus into the King. I do need like an 8 probably. Yeah, makes a 6. This Dreadnought into the Technomancers. Makes it with a 9. All right, so that is the charges. We'll see what I can chop up in my combat phase. For that turn, quite powerful. I was able to kill the Locust Heavy Destroyer and then use the Shield Captain's once per game ability to move after you're in engagement. So I moved over here behind to try to hide myself from some shots. I did kill the Transcendent Catan with all this blob over here, and I did finish mopping up the Wraiths. So that's gonna give me a fair amount of points. I'll figure the points out, we'll come back and then move on to Mike's turn 4. See if there's anything I can do and get this back, because sadly, as I push forward, Mike's turn 2 and turn 3 shooting just didn't do what he needed to do. Because I was quite worried marching up the table that he was gonna blow me off the board. We both kind of figured with the Canoptek Matrix or the Canoptek Court thing, having it up most of the game, I was gonna get blasted. Mike's turn 4 draw is. He needs something quite good. He still has Assassination and no prisoners. So Assassination, no prisoners, he needs to kill stuff. He does get 2 points for this objective here, bringing him up to 30 points. So the score is 30 to 41, going on to the turn 4 Necron movement phase. All right, so Mike's movement phase, he did move the Silent King down here just so he can contest this objective from me and hold that. And then he did move out the Immortals so he could get some shots onto my Shield Captains to try to get Assassination. He moved out the Doomstalkers as well just to try to get some more shots onto my Terminator blobs and my Custodian Guard over there. And I think that is the movement, just to see if he can kind of kill some of my units and get himself back in the game. Because if he can neuter a lot of my units, he can still get himself back in the game. For Mike's turn, he did end up killing my Custodian Guard over here. He wasn't quite able to kill my Shield Captain, bringing him down to 2 wounds. Took out my Custodian Guard and another Terminator. He was able to kill 2 units to get 4 points for no prisoners, bringing him up to 34 points to my 41. He's going to hold on to Assassination since that character is almost dead. So we're going to go on to Custodes turn 4, see what my draw is, and see if I can kind of get enough ahead here that even in turn 5 that he might not be able to catch up. Turn 4 cards. What do I draw here? I get Storm Hostile Objective. I need to steal objective that Mike is on. Not the best one, and Defend Stronghold. I'd like to get more points. So I do believe I will just spend a CP just to throw this away. So the CP I got, I'll toss that just because I want to try to get as much points as I can for capturing enemy outposts. That probably is not happening, but we should be able to get Defend. I do get 2 points for this objective and 5 points for this one, bringing me up to 48 to Mike's 34. And let's go on to my movement, see if I can kind of keep him from getting some points. And this Dreadnought finally did something with an advance of 1. He came over and just helped steal back this objective because it's turn 5 and just to keep Mike from getting points because he's going to take that next turn and kill them all. All right, so I just went through turn 4 pretty quickly. There wasn't much to do. I didn't even want to move him. I didn't want to take an Overwatch because if I did get Overwatch, Mike gets Assassination, then he gets a fresh draw next turn, so that keeps him from doing that. Charging the Doomstalker. This is the one Dreadnought that actually did anything all game. So he did actually kill that. Stayed on this objective, shot a little bit into these Immortals, but there wasn't much really to be done. So the turn does end, so turn 4 will end with 48 to 34 for the Custodes. and we're just going to rush through turn 5 and let you know how the game went. So we did finish the game, went through turn 5 pretty quickly, and the score ended up being 78-54 for the Custodes. And me and Mike were talking off camera like we usually do, and I think the big story of the game was me coming up and taking this objective right here. With the amount of Terminators and everything that actually made that charge, I was able to hold on to that. And then Mike's following shooting phase, he wasn't able to neuter those units enough for me not to hold on to that. And me holding on to that all game just kept Mike to only getting 2 points for his primary every turn, because I had this objective and this objective. I had all 3 except for the 1. And that kind of kept Mike's out of for the points, because our secondary was scored the same for secondary, 31-31, but it's the primary for this one was the big story. And over here was pretty much this decided the game, really, the battle for this objective. So that is the score, 78-54. Great game, and this will be the last time we probably play Leviathan, so we just want to try Leviathan. And we got a Dataslate coming up soon. Time this video comes out, the Dataslate will be out. So we'll be playing with the new Dataslate and the new cards the next time you see us. So thanks for Mike, always a great time playing with him.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.